Morning, everyone. Oops, sorry. Hang on. There, that should work. Welcome to the Monday morning business meeting, 10 o'clock business meeting. Jessica, we'll start.
Good morning, Jessica Warren, Human Resources. First item I have this morning is a request to fill from Public Works. One of their operators in Kalama has put in his resignation effective August 10th. So they would like to request to fill an operator 3 at Kalama shop, plus any domino effect that might occur from that.
No objections? Okay.
Thank you. And the next request comes from Corrections. One of their sergeants, Sergeant Belcher, has put in his official notice to retire effective September 26th. He's been here close to 35 years, so he'll
Wow.
be leaving. So we'd like to request to fill his position.
No objections? Okay.
Will it be easier to fill his position than the other 4 that are still vacant? Yes, you know, that's what I'm afraid of.
And then the only other item I have is an executive session at the end for collective bargaining.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see Kathy. Corrections?
Good morning, Marin Fox, Director of Corrections. I don't have a lot to report today. Our population is 226. We had 41 bookings over the weekend. We are still experiencing significant issues with fentanyl. And we've seen an uptick in inmates with significant medical issues as well. So we have some.
Could you flesh that out? So the usage inside the jail of fentanyl is.
Usage, well, people trying to bring fentanyl in,
Oh.
as well as the detox related issues that are going along with fentanyl detox.
Has fentanyl successfully been brought in to the jail by your knowledge?
Yes,
Have you figured out how it's done? It's so small that
it's very small and so on the body scan, it's a very small, and if it's powder, almost impossible to detect. But that does not mean we're not being vigilant in trying things. I know some facilities in the state have drug dogs. So we're looking into whether that's an option. I believe Chelan County has had pretty good success with that. We've also had it attempted to come in through the mail that we've caught a few times. Trying to bypass some of our systems by using legal mail because we can't go through legal mail in the same way, but we've been able to catch some of it that way.
stuff like that is so easy to bring across.
It's a different ball game, but some of the technology that you can use to detect and mail and that kind of thing I've looked into it, very, very expensive technology. But when it's new, it's always very expensive, and sometimes the price comes down. But we're looking at different options, but it's a common, the issues we're facing are common across the state. We got the body scanner before most facilities or before any facility in the state, but at this point, almost all facilities have them. But
What's the maintenance on that? Are we in good standing on that machine?
they provided maintenance as part of the initial purchase,
Right.
quarterly maintenance. And then after that, you have to enter into an agreement for the maintenance. And it was, in my opinion, way too expensive. So we're just going to move forward with repairs as needed rather than enter into.
So you're moving forward without the maintenance agreement?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was really a really high price.
We've had that machine now for 3 years.
I believe we got it in the end of like fall of 2017.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's been
3 years is actually more like 6.
some
Time
time
goes by.
COVID. COVID seems to
Yeah,
telescope everything.
And I've
And-
seen the vendors, I mean, the technology's changed a little, but not enough that I would say it's worth scrapping that piece of equipment to get a new one. It's pretty much the same technology now. So, I mean, it works, it's functional. We catch a lot of things. We've had a few inmates trying to smuggle in larger amounts of things in the last few weeks that we have caught, but the small amounts of drugs, the small things are very hard to detect on that machine.
at one time you mentioned that inmates would try to get chewing tobacco and reuse it and that kind of stuff. That's still going
Sure.
on?
I mean, they're always going to attempt to do, they're going to attempt to get away with whatever they can, but
One of the reasons I ask is because the nicotine is very concentrated also. You get a reagent grade bottle and a drop will probably drop you.
really, huh.
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
So other than that, I don't have a lot to report.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Kathy?
Apologize for being late for my slot. Kathy Funk Baxter, Finance Director. Budget update, we're continuing to get data entry done in our budget boss for 24 and 25. And I appreciate all the work the departments are doing to get their numbers in. It's looking pretty good. We have a report that I send you on a monthly basis, budget to actuals for some selected areas. For the month of June, it's still in process and it should be to you later this week. I'm running a little bit behind as our budget analyst has been away from the office the past few weeks. Federal funds, Title III, we have a public hearing set for next week, and today I'll get the agenda quick in for that. Risk management, I submitted a report to Doug Jensen of all the significant litigation or claims as of July 28th, and that was needed to support a letter to the state auditor's office. So I got that to him. Risk management, I'm setting up a risk meeting with the Washington County Risk Pool and Doug Jensen to go over the status of all open claims and open litigations. I hope to have that this week. This is something I think that's done on a monthly basis by the risk office. I requested discussion with Phoenix Security for the contract extension to extend that contract through December 31st for the administrative building, annex, and museum facilities. And I'm also will be updating the hours of service on that amendment. And then I'm just awaiting their response. Once I have information back from the risk pool, last week we discussed their new assessments for 24. I'm going to set up a workshop. I haven't gotten information back from them yet, so I'll be doing that as soon as I get that. And I'd like to also use that opportunity to discuss the internal service charges that we'll be allocating to the departments and the methodology that we'll be using for the 24 and 25 budget. And then over the next few weeks, I'd like to have a workshop with the commissioners to also go over annual charges for other internal service centers such as IT, things like that. So
Just how they're allocated out.
how the
Yeah.
methodology and how they're allocated out. And if there's any changes from previous or significant changes. And then I'm needing to take Thursday as a day of vacation. I have some good friends from Texas coming to visit. So I will be out Thursday.
Okay. As long as they don't take you back to Texas, we're good.
Yeah, I was going to advise them about
No, not going to happen.
the kidnapping laws.
Yeah, no kidnapping. They may want to stay. It's still extremely hot in Texas. So, but anyway.
Any questions?
Question, the Title III stuff, could you refresh my memory on that?
Title III is the funds that proposals have been submitted by 2 fire districts. And it's
Yeah.
about $18,000 that we have available to allocate.
Right, and
I think it's Title III from the Secure Schools funding.
Yes, from the
Congress
secure
passes.
rule,
So it's something like around $20,000 or so.
$18,000 for this year.
Yeah, the reason I even ask is because our chairman will not be here next week.
August 8th.
August 8th, you won't be here, right?
Yeah, whatever next Tuesday is.
Yeah,
Okay, do we want to,
I don't think there's anything controversial there, but
I didn't see anything on it when we were talking about it earlier.
yeah.
You had given a recommendation how you wanted to split that up and it sounded fairly reasonable to me.
and as of this moment, I haven't received any public comment in our office on this either. This is the end of the 45-day period this week.
Okay.
Anything else?
Doesn't look like it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like you're busy
Just one
enough.
question. How are you occupying yourself in your spare time?
What spare time? Yeah, so quite busy.
Yeah. Thanks, Kathy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kim Hort, IT Director. We are heavily underway on our phone system project. The timeline has extended out, and we kind of forecasted that due to the product lead time. So we're working with the vendor and then our former Avaya contract terms to true those up so we can continue to use the system until we go live with the Cisco product. We've
When they say extended out, did they give you a time frame?
Yeah, they said everything should be up and running by October.
Okay.
The original plan was to have everything done by August. So we'll follow up on that. Mike is about halfway through the departments on the risk assessment, and then we've also,
Just a question on the phones, who's the long path there?
who's the long path? It would be our Worldwide Technologies and Cisco, our new phone system.
Right, but are we the ones that are holding up the,
No, it was the product lead time to get
the
our,
product lead time?
yes, our core infrastructure in, like our servers.
Okay, thank you.
Going back to the risk assessment, Mike is over halfway done meeting with the departments, and I am very pleased. I've sat in on a few of those with just the collaboration and good investment from the departments. And then we've also conducted a CIS 18, which is one of the industry standards to see where we benchmark. So we're working with our risk pool to make sure that we're aware of our cyber hygiene and preparing for any changes in the policies in the future. We have scheduled interviews for our developer and our open technician position. And with the administration building changes, I'm looking into, we haven't committed into installing a access doorbell camera similar to the IT, to where the treasurer's office and auditor's office can manage who enters the building remotely. So rather than having to go to the door, see who's there type of a thing. So I don't know if you guys have any concerns or questions about that.
No, I don't. I might update our commissioners on work Mike's been doing with the other departments. I met with Kim and Mike. I don't know, I lose track of days, end of last week. And we talked about the Wednesday I'm back, whichever should be a Wednesday, I guess is the 3rd, 10th, so probably the 17th. 8/16, something like that. Okay, I asked him to put together so all of us could see what they've worked with the other departments and what the other departments have told them their weaknesses, all that kind of stuff. So we can expect probably an executive session and they can download that to us at that point in time. Just so everybody's aware.
Questions or concerns on that? We are still having issues with our HVAC in the administration building. So I've been talking with Sean Rowe and Will Tasted in facilities and budget, because it's notes to me that this is to be an IT cost. So I'm coming to you guys for some direction on how to approach that. In the past, it was managed by facilities. But since it's something specifically isolated to the needs of IT, because it is our server room, the cost they're saying should be ours. And so I just want to get direction on if that should be something from my reserves or if there's other funding you would like to use. Or we can do.
I kind of look over to Kathy.
Do you have a long-term plan for, let me back up, the HVAC problems is in the closet here where Lance's office is?
This building isn't really suited for a data center. So ideally, it would be better to be in a newer building with proper cooling and heating.
Yeah, no, I know, but we're not at that point where we know what the
Understood.
building is, and
Mhm.
we've talked about that before. We've had this server room there for quite some time, not my choosing, before my time. And so do you have a history of what the power consumption in there has been over time?
I do not have that.
Okay, I'm sure you've added more equipment, but the equipment has gotten more energy efficient. We're gonna have to figure out some ad hoc approach to doing the cooling there. There are ways to do that, like venting out into the hallway if you need to. I know it's not ideal, but we've got lots of facility issues, and we've got to stop doing expensive half steps. So are you currently getting alarms saying we're too hot in here?
Yes.
And how often, under what circumstances? You've done all the analysis?
Depending on what kind of analysis you're implying towards, but we're averaging about 78 degrees, which is a lot warmer than ideal temperatures for a server room.
Right, I know, but I cannot eat ideal. I can eat my machine stop because it got too hot. So that it may have occurred once or twice may be indicative of something else, and as if every day you have to do something. And of course, I would suggest putting an office in that space is probably not going to help the power consumption either, or I should say the heat production.
So right now we have multiple fans running in there, and then facilities has brought us a portable cooling unit.
Right, right. And I think until I see an overall plan and how we're going to do that, last time we talked, I mentioned, or I asked, and you confirmed that in fact, there's a lot of hard wire that comes into that closet, and to move it any place, it's a big deal, but it really needs a plan.
And is that facilities is telling them that it should come out of their budget now versus other? I think that's where we were.
Yeah, I tend to leave those things to those superior. Maybe Kathy or you would have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's not an ideal place. So I think we all get that, and we need some way to kind of how you can fix that on a more of a permanent basis instead of,
Savannah's also ready to jump in.
okay,
Good morning.
would you-
Oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Savannah.
I was just going to propose that we continue with a meeting that it sounds like had been planned for this week. Mike Moss came in and mentioned that. Sean and others had discussed that and wanted to meet with Kim this week. So I would like to maybe hold off on
Okay.
any funding conversations until we kind of all meet together and then maybe come back to the board and discuss our options.
Yeah, that makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Savannah.
Did you want to add something, Kathy?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think there's questions as far as if it's a permanent addition to the building or not a permanent addition as well. So I think it's a good idea to wait till we have a discussion with facilities.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the chairman, one of the biggest problems with trying to move facilities, you can move something inside the building, you move it outside the building, and now you got to figure the connectivity.
Right.
And you'd think leasing lines or a bandwidth these days would be cheap, but we'd probably be seeing anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 a month fees for lines, depending on where it is you had to go. You'd stop and think, do I use a microwave link? Do I use an extant dark fiber and all that? And it's not getting any cheaper. So
Yeah.
I don't want to think we move temporarily and then have to do it again.
Do it again, right? No, I agree. Thank you.
And then the last thing is that I'm scheduled for vacation next week, so I will be out of the office.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I see our county treasurer in. Did you have something today or are you just sitting in? She's with you? Okay. And any miscellaneous? I don't see any hands. How long do you think, Jessica? 30 minutes on this one? Okay, so we'll go into executive session for collective bargaining. Looks about 30 minutes.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 11:09.
I know. I thought chemical. Come out. Keep going. I think it's together. Yeah. And it's working out, so, like I grew in the rain. And the guy behind me was much better, Is there flashing yellow from their side or not? Our station would keep that yellow or only stop or something. I don't get a flash. There should be. There should be a flash red. I can't remember, but the one who put out the switch was lights and fire. Oh, I didn't so he's there. I don't have at all. No. Yeah, I saw your behind me, like, yeah, I might need you for this one. And of all things, I never drive my tongue. I always drive my old tree there and the day of course I did. I'm trying. Do you see the changes?
Yeah.
It's just very small.
Yeah. That's fine. Like I said, I was just gonna probably go over 5 or 6 of them, and if you have questions on others, back it up there.
Probably the favorite would be.
Jail, museum, gun range, annex.
That brings us because
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that's heading.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. I know you're.
I didn't see you in like a couple years. Yeah. Yeah, that is a couple years.
I just see it scale. No. These two are. Okay. And it's. Don't say? Yes. Okay, I see they're staying together. That's good. Okay. They go, last year, 1,700. It's not a smile here, but it's still being disturbed. Yeah. I'm probably looking to get these models, but this year, but last year the average model was $6. This one here is like. But I love. Okay, hold on. School starts this morning. Yes. When you said, on the site, $2,500 now, the cost of this. Well, so the full growth is good. First, like what's what will happen. Yeah. It's been ferocious. Oh, what are you looking at that? It's somebody exactly. Yeah. So we're not going to the way. The Mike saw it, says, she's one of them. I mean, you've been. Yeah. Never do any. So my mom was this. Really nice. And my. And she. 16. It's really. Well, it's like $20, 32 weeks. She buy like a, big thing. And even she passed it.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes, 15 minutes until 11:25.
Added in a distribution. Yes. These are children one item. What you get? So we got. Swing. Yeah. That's probably getting. That is the first person for. There's two lots of police, Baker, and then you have 11 acres in that. So we got buying, my question is, there. It's hard to get wide, but two, so we're gonna have two. Yeah, really. Yeah. He's just putting that. Easily, easements. Building well. Because once they come back, they need to buy. He's talked to Shannon. About that. fully from them, but when I saw every policy. What's the variance from that at all? Because we'll all ask the question. It's not, I was about to say, yeah, very good. Very. I was. Yeah. Because he's looked up the private. And it's that up to start. That is the variance. It could be that you have to have having justified any. I couldn't say nothing. Yeah. Yeah, because you got to show. Yes, everything gets a lot of streets. And we pay. But I've seen it work. Where you just. Is it only come off? Yeah, they're all just like for it. Just have to. Yeah. You may be able to do bare minimum works. Everybody purchased, you know. When the lot is sold. One. A pretty size. The whole 2 acres down there. Some people pay the house. You want to, if you want to, if you want to, start. I'm excited here. That's a big speed. That's the first lot. We're really much. Or you come up from, city. I don't know, like it's so, sky gray, I mean, like it's sometimes you, and when it's raining, yes. The great I was, saying, and he goes, I got hit in my grave. That's a great news to like. You got a dog. That's. You do? Three oh three, four.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 11:37.
So finally, I think one person, I said about facility that we want, that's. I mean, you know, is that's one. Real good, like, most also good times. Thursday. This Thursday? Yeah. And then we that week, yeah. And I just heard it. Right. Yeah. Something I want to do was that it was to last week saying, hey, you know, they might have to keep it from home. And they'll reach out to us. If you notice from the way you have fresh mass, you'll see some like kind of preliminary marking show that somebody goes home and take a measure. Now, let's ground it down, survey group now, surveyed it, and then they went back out to mark it up based off the survey. Something complicated, and you take survey that we made out, you try to. It's not just. Okay. Very challenging. And they will spray I wasn't back to the beach like last. Yeah. I'm fine, please, cooler. Sure, 1 second. Yeah, it just rains. Oh. Yeah, freezing. The next time we gotta go out. Yeah, we got rain on. I all Monday. We just, the big rain all day. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, those, no. Deal for the treasurer. And
I wonder, well,
no, but part of my needs to be very good. Yeah. So find out. Yeah.
Tomorrow we're supposed to bring council on. Should be interesting. We'll see how that. Yeah. Think it's all. Well, see you guys. Thinking of myself. Is there a way around? We're back from executive session. No decisions were made. Any other miscellaneous on the first meeting? We don't have any. We will adjourn that meeting and start up here real quick on our 11 o'clock. Okay, welcome to our business meeting with Public Services. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tracy Jackson, Building and Planning. I just wanted to give you an update on the Port of Longview project. In May of 2021, you, the board, two of you board members, voted and approved $2 million to go to the Port of Longview for their rail expansion. And we had a really good meeting with them this last week. And I just kind of wanted to give you an update on where your rural development dollars are going and what they're being used for. So they're starting construction in 2024, but they've been working on this since 2021. They're doing six rail lines, and they're going to be building 2 of them. Starting in 24, they are coming forward with us for permits within the next few weeks for the the 2-line expansion. They're hopeful that in September they will have purchased.
You just said that they're building 4 new
Did I
lines.
say 4?
They're starting with just 2.
No, they're proposing 6. But
Okay.
they are only building 2 at this time, but they are acquiring the additional
Right away.
right away, the land, everything through, and have everything ready to go. So when they do need the additional 4, sorry, there we go. There's my other 4.
There you go.
That they will have everything in place and ready to go.
And this includes the route over what is now the log pond.
The log ponds,
They're going to be
correct?
filling in that
Correct.
substantially.
And this is also the property through the landfill as well.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
We still own the
do.
landfill property, right? So
We
that's
do.
still on the plate.
that is still in the works. Yep. They're hoping to purchase the properties in September. They're at 90% design drawings on their designs.
And that negotiation is the $2 million that we gave to them to begin with, right?
No, that was, no.
We don't get that back?
Anyways, we're looking forward to their permits that come in. They're in conjunction with the city of Longview's. So they'll be applying for the city of Longview permits and ours at the same time. And then we're hoping to coordinate so they both get them issued at the same time so they can start their project. And they're supposed to be completed. I believe they said June of 2027 for the 2 lines in full operation. And it's true to their contract because their contract is from saying that their contract complete would be December of 2027. So it's all falling into place.
So remind me again, does this project bring an end to the locks? Or are they building a bridge over the locks? Or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
they did just get $15 million in federal funds in addition to whatever they've gotten before.
Yeah, and originally their total project was 76 million, and she didn't give us an update on how much
It's more than that,
substantial
yeah.
the cost had gone up since the 21 numbers.
So I think this is probably tied into some of the concerns local businesses have for changes on international way. Probably Dennis would know
I don't think
better
so.
than I.
This one isn't related to the International Way.
It's not up that far north.
No, it's where the,
We have,
She knows where the map is.
So International Way is a separate project that they're moving forward with to.
it's part of the bigger plan though, isn't it?
It is part of, to do the grade separation, and that is a completely separate project that they're moving forward with. They reached out to me last week or the week before to try and set up a meeting with staff to discuss that project and what alternative they're going to be moving forward with.
Thank you. Okay, so for this purpose, I can think of these as two completely independent projects.
Yes,
Okay, even though ultimately they have to play with each other.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
that's all we had. I just wanted to give you an update and kind of show you where once we invest in a project and kind of, now we're seeing the full circle. So it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Good, thank you.
That's it.
Do you have anything for me?
I'll come by to see you later.
Okay.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
It's been a while.
It has been.
So you guys wanted an update on the comp plan. I will be meeting with you guys August 30th to go over it. For the most part, it's finalized. The last part is going to the public for input. And then we're going to take that public input. Any projects we missed that we want to add, we'll do so after that. And then I'll bring it back to you guys. Hopefully we'll get it approved and I'll send it off to the state.
Sounds good.
So my understanding is this new comp plan, it'll be not as heavy as the previous comp plan.
It is smaller,
I
a
like
little
that.
trimming.
I
Are you
understand you
happy
had
with
a non-contracted consultant working on revisions.
Sure. I don't want to read it anymore. I'm done.
So are you happy with where the comp plan is?
Yeah, I think it's much better than our previous one. It's more straightforward to the point what we're gonna do for the next 6 years.
And we're overdue on the comp plan, aren't we?
It expires this December.
Oh, so we're ahead of the game?
Yes.
Congratulations. That's the only one I've heard that we're not.
As of right now.
Oh, okay. Depends on us now, right?
Yeah, we'll see in January.
Well, I think one of the differences between the other comp plan was the lack of, because we've always done it this way, phrases, which
Right.
was kind of all sprinkled throughout the other comp plan, and we had to put a stop to that,
You're
which
right.
I think we did. But yours is already project driven.
Well, and RCO updated their manual and they made it more clear, I guess, and they wanted
Good.
more measurable projects instead of just give us your wildest dreams,
Mhm.
stuff that'll actually get done.
You're not.
Speaking of dreams, Cowlitz Park.
All right. It's been a while since I've updated you guys. Let's see, the parking lot's finished. The car stops are put in, boulders are surrounding the parking lot so nobody can get into the grass. We did install a trail that goes from the parking lot into the park. The last piece that we need to do is the bathroom, and I'm hoping I can start working on that this month or the following month as soon as things kind of slow down for the parks. It's been a little bit busy this year.
That will need to be handled by a septic system, right?
It'll be a vault toilet,
Oh,
so
I'm sorry, what?
A fancy septic system.
yeah, a vault toilet, so the septic
Oh, got
underneath
it.
it,
So you-
porta potty kind of, but it's concrete.
And so you'll come back in a while and empty it kind of thing.
Yeah, so we usually have them emptied once a year or every other year, depending on how full they are.
Hmm.
That'll be the fourth one, third one in the system,
That'll be the fifth one.
fifth one, okay.
This last year, yes. We actually, the company that comes out and pumps it, they have to come back next year with their vac truck because there's so many needles and cans and garbage in there that they can't pump it the way they usually do.
Ooh,
And that's at Cook Ferry.
Cook Ferry.
Yeah, Harry Gardner's fine though.
So for my own interest, how large a tank?
So there are 1,000 gallons under each toilet.
Okay, thank you. And how are we doing the water there?
There's no water.
There will be no water. Okay, just hand sanitizers or
Yep.
something.
Any other questions?
So a target date for grand opening of Cowlitz Park?
Oh,
Or is there another day? I mean, is that?
let's do next spring, you know, when it's actually pretty.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then in the future, I'm hoping to go for a Warehouser grant so we can maybe put in a swing set.
Riverside Park is still heavily used for soccer.
Yes, and now that our fields are so pretty, everybody wants to come out and play. Timber Barons would like to come out and play. So I'm trying to work in, so Kelso Youth Soccer and Timber Barons can both use it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Hmm.
So, and the fields do look really good.
And it's all fenced in with,
Yep,
yeah.
there's access points all around it, so people can come in at any time. It's just with the contracted sports teams that we use, they get first right.
It tends to eliminate the cookies being cut.
Oh, it's been great. I haven't had to come in the morning and go, me.
toward the end of the year, when the field gets soft, it's gonna get all torn up again, right? Because the guys are gonna play in the snow if they have to.
What are we talking about this fall?
Yeah,
So the plan is that they're not going to practice on the fields. They will only be playing games. That way we can minimize the damage to the fields. That way we keep them in good condition.
the Mexican community, Hispanic community plays on the weekends there pretty frequently. Is that changing?
They haven't come out in a couple of years.
Really?
I don't know where they went. They just stopped showing up.
I'm surprised. That was a big community event.
It was huge.
I thought it was kind of nice, actually.
And how is the apartment construction going on? Have they done more than just break ground, or
Honestly, I don't know what they're doing up there.
they haven't put frames up yet? Huh?
Is that what's going up? Apartments?
Yeah. Right, right.
I've heard the owners have changed. So I don't know what the latest plan is, but it looks awful. The grass is so tall that 4th of July caught fire twice and spread into the entrance of our park a little bit. So,
Yeah.
and we get a lot of complaints. People think that it's ours
Mhm.
and ask why we're not maintaining it.
Yeah.
So,
And a while ago, not that long ago, a constituent wanted a frisbee golf course, and he did a lot of elbow grease and laying out the plans. That's all worked out?
yeah, so all the baskets are in. The last thing we need to do is build the tee pads, which we'll probably start doing this fall. And then get some signs made. So there's posts marking where the tee pads go. It's very, very popular. We get a lot of people out there.
That'll be the second one in the community, because Roy Moore, it's open at Roy Moore's Park now.
Sorry, what was
One
it?
is open at Roy Moore's.
Over
There's
where?
actually quite a few. There's Tamashaner has one,
Tamochana does, okay.
Yep. and then there's North County too. In Rainier, so yeah, 5 or 6 of them. Popular sport.
And you got all new lawnmowers?
Hmm?
And you got yourself a new lawnmower?
I did a year ago, 2 years ago. It's been a while. The new lawnmowers are great. Don't have the problem that we did before. Decks are not breaking randomly. They cut really nice, which is why our fields are looking so good. So really happy with our equipment choices.
I do have a question. It comes to mind because I had a constituent, when you talk Riverside, and I chatted with you a little bit about it, we licensed UTVs. And you guys are gonna look at that and see about that. Have we taken a look, or is that part of the plan that we'll see?
So I met with our last park board meeting. We did not have a quorum. So I'm gonna wait until the next meeting when we do, and we'll vote on it, and then I will bring it to Mike, and Mike will bring it to you.
Take a look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, the park looks really good out there, except for wherever they're supposed to build. They put some kind of stuff in the ground and just the dirt, and it's not very attractive. Yeah.
So, and then I'm hoping to go for a grant within the next month. RCO is opening up a special first-time maintenance grant. They don't require a match, and they're still figuring out the specifics. So I think they're August 15th. They're having a big meeting to discuss it. So hopefully we can come up with a plan and go for that. And it's all deferred maintenance projects. So if we want to,
You got a
some of
building
our-
or two out of at Lexington, at Riverside, don't you?
what?
You have a building or two like that. that
Yeah,
use-
yeah,
use
just
them
a
help out there.
couple, some restroom issues, plumbing issues that would be great to fix.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Facilities maintenance, we had Will in here earlier. He had a couple pages of spreadsheets, but the time ran over on the executive session. We're going to move that to next week. And we'll put it on next week's Monday's agenda at 11. So we'll skip facilities and move into public works. Susan's here to talk a little bit about Ostrander Road, and I think there's a picture. She left some pictures on the desk for you guys of the temporary bridge.
So good morning, Susan Eugenius. Just kind of wanted to give you all an update of where we're at. So the pictures you can see, I dropped off for you, shows the installation of the temporary bridge. So the temporary bridge that we had approved instead of using the bypass road is in place and is in use, so that they're now using the bypass road. The contractor is doing the initial fishing and stream excavation, and we'll start breaking up the existing culvert in the next few weeks. Hot off the presses on Friday was their change order request for that. Their original estimate for the work was about 220,000. They had some additional engineering cost, getting it up to 230. And then in addition to that, PUD had to make some additional changes out there. And because they had already moved out of our way once, we have to pay for the second move. And so those costs are added into their change order, getting it up to about 290. We'll be bringing that forward with the full explanation and breakdown in a couple of weeks. But I just wanted to let you know that we had received it. The contractor was pretty accurate on his original estimate that he gave us, discounting the PUD work.
Should have made the people out there happy, huh? Yeah.
Yes. So my other item is on the, unless you had other questions about those. So on the consent agenda tomorrow is a contract amendment for landfill cell development. It looks like a huge amendment because originally when we started the contract, we weren't anticipating including cell 10 development. So we're increasing the contract by 200,000 to start the cell 10 development. So that is why it's such a large increase, because we weren't anticipating doing it on this contract.
Seems like you mentioned doing both of them together a while back, though. That's not a surprise to us, right?
No, we just moved it forward in the timeline of a few months, so.
All right.
River Suites lease agreement. I think Doug Jensen's been keeping you guys a little bit informed of some emails back and forth between us and Kelly. Doug's been working with the landlord of the River Suites where Public Defender's office is currently located, been there for quite a few years. I think '07, I think was when they moved in there. We're now looking maybe down the road, moving them somewhere, but short term, we really don't have a home for them right now. And I mean, short term, this is a 3-year lease. The initial year is at $64.63 a month, so $6,463 a month. The last contract, the last months were $57.83, so it's about 11% increase from the last contract to these current rates. We were trying to present this last week. There was a typo in the contract that Doug found last Monday. They've got that worked out now between the two sides and asked us to bring it forward today. Doug did during this session to maybe get confirmation to move forward to sign today because it is the last day of the month. They're having the contract start August 1 and then get it on a consent agenda down the road. But see if we get it signed today. Get it back to the other party for notarization. So I want to bring it forward to you guys to see where we're at on that contract.
So our chairman needs to sign it.
You actually have spots for all three and be notarized. So I don't know if we just do one today and then have the other two signatures done on the consent agreement in the following Tuesday. I'll look at Kelly for maybe an answer on that one.
But Doug's satisfied. He's satisfied with this now.
He is now satisfied.
Because I
with
know
it.
he had some real issues, so
He
we're
did.
feeling pretty good. And that
Yeah.
11% increase, that's still a pretty good rate when we look at other properties. And
It is,
everything.
yeah. It turns out to be about $1.75 a foot. So it actually turns out to
Yeah.
be pretty good. That is a newer building compared to some of the stuff out there. It is old medical building, so it is broken down into different offices, but it seems to work well for that group for now. Like I said, I don't think this is a long-term fix for us, but it takes a while for us to move all the puzzle pieces in place. And 3 years will go by pretty quick anyway. There is extensions in the back if we want to move forward down the road, but we'll worry about that in 2027.
So we can pass a motion and sign it today
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be done with it.
Right.
So
And this accomplishes the goal of giving us a window to continue our plans if we want to move. But we're also locked in for at least 3 years.
Correct.
If
Yeah.
need be.
And
But
we
we
did
can
meet-
get out.
Locked in one-sided in our favor.
To get out.
You know, we have an escape clause in there, right?
There is no escape clause in this 3-year contract.
Oops.
That was the negotiation between us and Doug and them to try and get an out in there. We're signed up for 3 years. If there is an escape clause, as in if we leave early and once he finds a new renter to take the place, that's when our rental payments stop. I don't know if the old one, what was the old one agreement? Did it have one in there for 180 days? Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
thought
the new landlord was unwilling to have an out clause in the contract.
last time we talked,
It was in there.
it was in
Yeah.
there.
So-
And you're saying you couldn't get it without.
Correct.
That wasn't our goal, was it?
um,
And we can, no, the other option is to bump it for another month. When we do bump it out another month, which is fine, we do pay a penalty for this upcoming month. It's not like we're leaving the space tomorrow. Last month, we paid 150% of the rate rather than just a regular contract rate when you go over a month. That's actually in the
That's
contract.
the old contract, right?
Yeah.
So that's how much? 7,800?
To be $6,000, be like right around $9,000 for the month
Ooh.
till we get a contract in place. So. And that's the will of the commissioners to go back to see if we can get an out clause in there, but that was one of the sticking points.
Wow.
I apologize not to bring that up at the beginning.
Yeah, I was gonna complain a little bit. We've known this, that we're going down this
Yeah,
track.
we
for a
have,
while.
yeah, that's the way we actually wrote up the initial contract.
Well, what do you want?
Well, I would leave it at, because it's pretty clear landlord may terminate tenant's interest under the lease, but no act by landlord other than notice of termination from landlord to tenant shall terminate this lease. They're the only ones that can terminate it. 3 years. On one side, we probably wouldn't have anything in place for them to move within 3 years. But in case we did, then we're on the hook.
We can go back and ask for 180 days or maybe a little bit longer. I mean, 180 days is 6 months. We'd know probably well in advance of 6 months if we're going somewhere else. It takes a lot to move an office for sure, get office space, or if there's a mall move or wherever that may be down the road. Or maybe they're willing to, if we stretch that a little bit longer, maybe we just give them 9 months notice and I can try and negotiate something back in if that's the will of the board. And we just pay a penalty for the month of August.
Like, are you saying if you did a 5-year in exchange for giving us an out clause?
That's certainly a
Is that
possibility.
something to talk about.
That's the reason I went from a 5 to a 3.
Gotcha.
How quickly can they fill in the 911 center space?
What do you guys
That's
think?
convenient, but probably not enough space. They need about 10,000 to 12,000 square feet just to hold their own, right?
Yeah. Well,
It's
No,
not
it's
quite that. No, it's
three.
half that.
yeah, it's half that.
Yeah. So, but I think what's available is about half of what they have now.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's in 911. Don't know. I know 911 be a few months before they're completely out of that structure, but they will be out at the end of September. Seeing the look on the faces of the board, I'm certainly willing to go back and we'll just postpone one more month and see what we can negotiate differently in the month of August.
Except that one more month is gonna cost us another.
$3,000 extra.
Yeah.
Like, or $3,000 if you get an out clause in there that you're comfortable with, it might be worth the money.
On this kind of stuff, I'll defer to the chairman because he's more experienced with the real estate and the banking elements. I'm serious. I mean, I don't know what the right thing is to do, except this
Yeah.
time we should move forward with something.
Yeah.
Not this time, but
The chairman is probably right. 3 years before we get a major change like that in the works.
well, I would say if we wanted to move OPD, we could do it much faster than that. But if you get to 3 years and that's one fewer problems you have to solve here today.
My guess, if I was sitting in the, in the other seat, and I'd probably spend the 3,000 to see if I could get an escape clause, because 1 month's rent is 6. So I mean, if we find a place in 2.5 years, you're saving 6 months at 6.
Yeah.
On the odds that you spend 3,000 more. So I'd give it another month and try to negotiate that.
There's only one thing in that computation. You have to put in a multiplier of the probability that you'd be successful. Meaning if you know that it's a hard no,
Mhm.
then.
Has he got people lined up for this space?
No.
I don't believe so at this point. I don't think he's actually actively marketed the place, so I don't know. I can't answer that. I just know that coming back though, if that's the direction we want to go, it probably will be a 5-year lease, but that's okay if we have an out clause in it. So it probably won't matter at that point.
If you have an out clause,
Yeah.
the
I
term
agree.
of the lease
It
is
doesn't.
kind of a moot
Good
point.
point. I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not so optimistic that they'd agree to that.
Well,
So you got your marching orders from him?
It sounds like I'll be coming back. That's,
I'm just one guy here. I mean, if they,
No, I have no objection to anything you've said.
okay. Let's give it 30 days.
We'll do it.
support you. I'll support you.
Okay.
we'll,
And see what you can do, Mike.
I'll update you guys next week on negotiations.
Yeah.
It may have to be an executive session.
I'm a little confused at how our pretty consistent principle of always having an out clause got dropped in this. Because, I mean, every time we approve a contract, I know a question is asked.
I agree.
Do we have an outlet? And
Yeah.
it always comes from Arn, which is, I mean, he's, and it's the right question to ask, so.
The landlord was unwilling to have an out clause in a 3-year contract.
Mhm.
That's what happens when you drive it right up to the last hour.
Well, yeah, but we've been working on this 3 months. So,
Yeah, but it would take us 3 months to move OPD.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
And that would
apologies,
be
I don't have one
optimistic.
good enough to sign today.
Right.
Last time we have is a Harris County interlocal agreement. I think this is for a piggybacking item that we want to use another county's agreement they have in place. This is on the, I believe, a consent agenda item tomorrow. So Sean, I want to give you a little background on that.
Harris County is where?
This is Harris County in Texas, sir.
Texas.
Oh, that's where we bought equipment from in the past.
So this is a interlocal agreement that would allow us to join a cooperative bid group called Choice Partners, similar to some of the other cooperative purchasing groups we've used before. So this interlocal agreement allows us to purchase from that group that's already done the work on that.
Oh, I thought this was the contract to allow us to move Kathy's stuff to Washington State. Sorry.
So are the people at Harris County, do they have their fingers out throughout the country?
Yes, so these cooperative purchasing groups, we participate in quite a few of them. We have NASPO, Sourcewell, Omnia Partners, and they're groups that have already gone out and done the evaluating of bids and solicited all those items. And so that allows us to go, oh, this contract we want to work with, or this item we want's already been processed on here. And so we already know that we're getting the best price possible without having to dedicate the resources to do that ourselves.
Yeah, I like it. Anytime there's mutual cooperation, I'm like ecstatic. That's the way life should be.
When I was on the board of directors, WASAC, there were cooperative purchasing agreements that the SAO threw out and said, we can't do that. It's against our law. Has that question been asked and answered for this agreement?
Yes, so what we call piggybacking, some of the restrictions and rules around those have changed in the past few years, which allow this to move forward.
Okay, all right. Cool.
Yeah, so there is a particular item on this one. I believe this one is a facilities item. or-
Excuse me, that was my question.
So go ahead. And this one specifically, I believe, was a facilities one for chemicals within the water systems of the Hall of Justice and Admin building here for that service. Service for chemicals going into the water systems at both the Hall of Justice and Admin building.
And what's the big city in Harris County?
That's a great question.
No,
Hmm.
it's not Dallas or Fort Worth. or-
That's another country.
It's a big place.
So a lot of times we're looking at bidding or looking at things like maintenance needed, the chemicals, purchasing will go out and look to see if they're available on Sourcewell or some other contracts we already have in place. And when they don't find one there, sometimes they'll find something that pops up and say, hey, like this one here, Harris County or has already done this work for us, and we go after it that way. We usually don't sit in the office just to go find agreements. It's something that usually makes us go that direction. Some certain type of, like in this case, a certain type of chemical that puts in our HOJ and annex administration buildings HVAC system. And we can still go out after it ourselves. This just saves that purchasing department time and effort.
Houston.
Houston.
I forgot to ask Tracy a question. I'll wait till, or
Yeah, we're done with that unless you have any items. We'll go to miscellaneous.
okay, with, we've asked for SEPA timelines to be expanded to give more time for citizens to comment. Is there an update on that?
I don't know if it's Tracy or Wayne's online. I haven't got any updates.
No, I
yet.
looked, they're not. So that was my fault for not
We can-
remembering.
You can
to
ask them
ask.
directly, or we can bring it at
I'll be
tomorrow's
seeing
agenda.
Tracy later on, so I'll
Okay,
ask.
or
her.
if you want to hear it in a public setting and do it tomorrow or tomorrow at the 1:30. No, tomorrow at 1:30. Okay.
We have no meeting tomorrow at 1:30? We do have one in the morning. And we have a meeting on Wednesday.
Well, thank you. Unless you guys
We're
have,
good?
we're good unless you guys have any miscellaneous items there. Not bad. 12:15.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else? We will adjourn.